Yo, what's happening, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Rave Diaries and Tower Block Towels with yours truly, Uncle Doug's I'm in the car today, in the hot seat. Actually, the seat, I did have the seat heater on, so I was in the hot seat. Anyway, shut up, Doug. Thank you to all of you guys that watched the previous episode, the Pirate Radio one that went up a little while ago. And to all of the videos, all you subscribers, new people to the channel, first time, all of you guys, big up. Thank you. So on with today's, is it a rave diary? Is it a towel? It's not a Tower Block towel. I guess it's a rave diary, this one. So we're going to Thailand on today's episode. I think the year must have been about 2015, maybe? 2015, don't know, may have been earlier. Anyway, let's call it 2015 for argument's sake. So me and Sarah went to Thailand. It wasn't one of our January jaunts. It was a different time of the year. Just me and Sarah, 2-week holiday in Thailand. And the plan was that I didn't want to work, because whenever we go on holiday, I know it's not going and digging a hole in the floor and all that, but I always end up getting a bit of work. DJ here, got to be here at this time, got to leave. When we go to Thailand, got to leave here and go to another island and blah, blah, blah and all that. And listen, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being like, oh, it's such a hard job. Oh, it's so hard. Of course it's not. But this particular holiday, I find it very hard to just go on holiday and relax. Sarah's taught me how to do it over the years, but I've always took my work with me on the phone, on the computer, whatever. And then I don't have a real holiday and I come home and I don't feel like I've been away. So Sarah's taught me to relax. So this particular holiday was a relaxing holiday, right? No work, no needed to be anywhere, literally wake up, do nothing, like a proper holiday's meant to be. Anyway, it was the second week of our holiday and we was in Koh Samui. We were walking down the Chaweng Ai Road and sorry, there's a hair on my hat there. And I see this little sign, or we see this little sign on a lamppost. When I say little, it was like that big. It just said drum and bass tonight, and then the name of this bar, which was on the Chaweng Ai Road in pen. It wasn't like a printed post, it was in pen. It just said drum and bass tonight. And we're on holiday, we'd gone to get away from all of that. So Sarah said, do you fancy it? And I said, no, not really, babe. I was like, we was on our way home. We was actually walking back to where we was. It was about 10:30 at night. Like I say, it was a proper holiday. We weren't really out on the piss, on a mental one or nothing like that. We was walking back to our room. So Sarah wanted to go. So I was like, all right, let's have a little look, see if we can find it. So we walk up the high road. We're asking people for this bar. It's not on Google Maps, and I'm fucking looking at it. Anyway, we get to this little sort of like, we walk down the aisle, there's a little alley or whatever, and we look down there, and you can just hear the faint sound of drum and bass. So we walk down there, and it's this tiny little bar. You look into the bar, and there was a bar on the left, a little bit of a space in front of it where you could call a small dance floor, and then at the back there was a little sort of place where the DJ could go. It was tight. There's a little tiny shop unit that had been turned into a bar. One guy sitting at the bar on his own, and the geezer that was serving. He's a Thai man. The guy that was serving, I forget his name. Do you know what? In this story, I'm going to have forgotten everyone's name, so I'm going to say from this point, apart from Joe Serious and anyone else that pops into my head while I'm telling this story, right this second I can only remember Joe, so I'm hoping other ones come into my my brain as we go along this story. But if they don't, guys, it's just how I am. It's not you, it's me. I fucking forget everyone's names. I'm useless, so I'll apologise in advance if your name don't come into my head while I'm telling this story. But just know that I've got love for you all, and that first opportunity and experience was everything what we're going to talk about now. Anyway, we're in this bar. Thai guy serves us. We order a drink. He spoke really good English. What's his name? Not important. We're talking to him for a second. The guy to my right is an Englishman. I didn't know that he's a white guy. He's an English dude, but I didn't know that at the time. So he sort of turns over and he's like, hello guys, blah, blah, blah. Where are you from? That I suppose would have been his first question. London, where are you from? He's told us where he's from. And we was like, oh, is this your night, a drum and bass thing? And he's like, no, but I live here and I'm a teacher and I teach English to Thai kids or whatever. And I love my drum and bass. But you don't get a lot of it out here. So I've just come for this evening, So we have a little chat, I find out he's a teacher. He says to me, what do you do for a living? I say, I'm a DJ. DJ, yeah, what do you play? I said, I play drum and bass and jungle and whatnot. Oh, what's your DJ name? Uncle Doug. Oh my fuck, I can't believe Uncle Doug, blah, blah, blah. This, mate, what you doing in this fucking bar? Rah, 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 all that. Lovely. Then he says to me, do you want to play at the full moon party? And at this point, I've never even been to the full moon party on Kho Phangnan. And I know of it, obviously. It's a world famous fucking party. But he's asked me if I want to play at it. His friend runs a bar called the Sunrise Bar, or a night at the Sunrise Bar on the full moon, a drum and bass night. It's the only drum and bass night at the full moon thing on Kho Phangnan. So I said, look, I really appreciate the fucking offer, but I'm trying to do what it says, talk me, you know. I mean, I'm on a proper holiday, mate. Like, I did have my USBs with me as well. I had a USB on me because we were using it to play music off in the room, on the telly or whatever it was we was playing it through. So I did have a USB with me that had all my music on it, but I didn't have no headphones or nothing like that. So I've said to him, no, look, I'm all right, thank you, a fucking great offer, but no. Says like, no, he'll do it. I remember looking at her like, what are you talking about? She's like, this is a fucking opportunity that might never come around again. I know we're meant to be on holiday, but, you know, we might never get to do this again. So, you know, obviously I thought about that, and like, she's right. Of course she's fucking right. We may never get back to Thailand again at this point. So I was like, mate, if you can make it happen, let's do it. So he rings up this guy, Joe Serious, and I want to big up all the crew at the Sunrise Bar. They're still doing their drum and bass nights now. I still play for them now. I did the midnight set, New Year's Eve just gone, you know, the 12 o'clock set going into the new year in the Sunrise Bar. And I forget the guy's name who fucking owns it as well. Thai guy, lovely guy, DJs as well. He was on after me. He's fucking legend. Anyway, again, it is important, but there's no point in me racking my brains trying to find it because it's in the depths of the smoke and all of that. So Joe Serious comes on the phone, we have a little chat, and he's like, Doug's fucking hell, blah, 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 big fan and all that. And I'm like, mate, it's fucking thank you, you know what I mean, for letting me do this. When is it? He's like, it's tomorrow. I'm like, okay, so how do I get there? How does it all work? So he says, right, you go down to the fucking pier, Banrak Pier or whatever it is in Koh Samui, get the boat over, you know, we'll pay for the boat. It's, you know, there ain't no big money. Literally, I'm playing there the next day. They didn't even know I was going to be there. So, you know, we've all negotiated this great way. It's like, I'm not bothered. I'm on holiday. You give me an opportunity. I don't give a shit about the money. It's just a great experience. We wouldn't have gone otherwise. So don't worry about all that. So he said to me, basically, we'll get you a boat over and then we'll send you back on the 6 o'clock boat the next morning after. So I'm at the time thinking, yeah, cool. We spend the night in a bar, have a couple of drinks with matey, tell him thank you and all that. We'll see you tomorrow. Go to bed, wake up. We're going to Kho Phangnan the next day. Go down to the pier, probably 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock-ish, whatever it would have been. Get on the little boat over. Takes about, a speedboat's about 15-20 minutes. The slow boat takes obviously 2-3 times longer than that. Go over there, you get off the boat at the pier. I forget the pier's name that we get off at. Is it something Tong Salar maybe in Kho Phangnan? And you get off anyway, and the beach is called Hadrin Beach, where the full moon party is, and the Sunrise Bar is about halfway down. There used to be a place called Mushroom Mountain, which was at the far end of the beach. It was like it's a mountain. Basically, that was the only place where really drugs were tolerated in Thailand. At this point, this was when you get your hands cut off for smoking out there. It was super stush. But there was Mushroom Mountain, where you could go and get your mushroom milkshakes and all of that. So, you know, partly that was why the draw of Kho Phangnan was such a big thing. But on full moon party, obviously, you had that mixed up with all night music on a beach, beautiful settings, world-renowned party with multiple sound systems along the beach. So, you know, it's a huge fucking thing. I think someone told me they get 70,000 people there, you know, when it's a busy one. So we get off the boat, we walk down to Hadrin, the little town, and it's a beautiful little place. Now I've been there when full moon ain't on, you know, years later, and spent a bit more time over in Kho Phangnan and whatnot. It's a beautiful island, but all I got to see on this first thing was we got off the boat and it's just taken over. All the shops that don't sell stuff that's anything to do with raving or drinking or whatever, they're shut. All the other shops that could sell you stuff to get you on one are open, and it's a huge lucrative thing for them. Half moon, full moon, dark moon, black moon, white moon, blue moon, fucking any kind of moon. They try to cash in on it. But the full moon is the big party. And then key dates like New Year's Eve and stuff like that. And if the full moon falls on a New Year's Eve, mate, it's game over. So as we're getting into Hadrian, like the town is just full of people covered in UV. There's things that they call buckets out there. So a bucket is what we would, when you go to the beach and you make a sandcastle with a bucket and spade. So it's a little bucket. There'll be like not a miniature, not the big flat one. If you have a Cavossier, you get the little miniature. You get the next one up that's about that big, and then the next one, then you get the big flat one. So the third one in the row of Russian dolls, you get one of them and a couple of Red Bulls cans or a couple of Cokes or whatever in a bucket and a straw. And people put the whole thing in there. Most of you would know what a bucket is, but just in case you don't, and then you drink it out the bucket walking around. Plus all the mushroom stuff that's going on out there, and all of the other shit that's going on illegally in the alleys and around in the shadows. So there's a lot of casualties at this party. It's mental, right? It's fucking mad. This party is mad. If ever you get to go. It's an experience. But early on, obviously everyone's like kind of full of energy and the sun's still out and everyone's bubbling. I've got my bucket and all that. So we're having a walk around. We went and got some food. Went and found a bar. Went and met Joe and all of the guys at the bar that, mate, I think there's a Rob. There is a Rob, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, we go and meet all the guys and they're all lovely, super welcoming. It was just a beautiful experience. Beautiful. And I'm still friends with them despite not fucking remembering their names. I'm still friends with them all to this day. I saw them all New Year's and the holiday we was just on in January when I broke my shoulder. We see them all. So anyway, the party starts to warm up and people start to get on one. And I would say that first time at Full Moon Party, that's probably the most fucked up I've ever seen people at a party. And I don't mean like fucked up like causing any aggro, but I mean like drunk and on the floor and being sick and you can frown at that and you can, but it's almost like a part of that party is for going to get wasted. Yeah. And in Thailand, especially at that time, there was nowhere else to do it. So you would have a mixture of people from all over the world that want to go to the Full Moon Party, but also a lot of the locals would descend on it because there's a bit of freedom for them, you know what I mean, to be able. And now and again, Mushroom Mountain would get raided and the police didn't necessarily let it happen or tolerate things outside of that area or let you get away with it because it was Full Moon Party. Like they were stush in them times. They've eased off a bit now because of the cannabis laws and whatnot. But the Thai police, you don't fuck about with them. And now and again, Mushroom Mountain would get shut down. The police would go and turn it all over and nick people and blah, blah, blah. So, it was a bit of a shady fucking grey area anyway at the best of times. But it was where everybody came to party, hence why everybody getting fucked up. Because for the rest of the time, they can't do that on any island in Thailand unless you want to risk, a prison sentence if you get caught. So, yeah, that adds to the hedonism and the craziness and the debauchery and all the shit that goes on at Full Moon Party. So I played my set. I can't remember what time I played the first time, but it was a good, by the time I come on, it was like 1 or 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever in the morning. It's full swing. The beach is in front of you. And for this one occasion, I mean, I've gone back loads since, and like I say, they're my mates now. So I thought it was normal, but only on this occasion did they have the deck set up on the front, looking out to the beach. So when I was DJing, I was literally on the beach, looking up and down the beach, fucking thousands of people. I'm playing my music to thousands and thousands of people, and they're not all there for your sound. I'm not going. Sorry, I touched the mic. Then I'm playing my music to thousands of people, is what I said, up and down the beach, just everywhere. But obviously, your sound is your bar. When they walk a bit further on, there's a bit of bleed, and then it's the next place and new music from a new sound system. But in front of you, whatever's in front of you is people for there, and it was packed. And there's people because you're by the sea; they're all in the sea dancing, on the beach and all that in front of you. It's sick. Played my set, come off the decks, went to have a little look around, and we walked up the beach and we walked back again. And by that point, we'd had a drink. I was drinking in them days and fucking about. So we'd had a drink and a whatnot. Some whatnot. There weren't a whatnot, but we'd had a drink. And I think it was probably maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We decided we've got to get out of it, mate. I can't do this till 6 o'clock. Because by then everyone's like fully on one. As you can imagine, you've been drinking since the night before. And a lot of people in them situations in the UK, I can only speak for, would have stuff to balance out the drink. A lot of the kids would be dibbling and dabbling, but there's not that out there at this time. So people are full on drinking spirits from early evening in the sun right the way through till that time there. And because it's the party, they're not just drinking spirits like they would when they're going out to a bar on the strip or whatever. They're fucking hammer and tong, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a lot. There was a lot of people just being sick and falling around the place and asleep and all of that. So me and Sarah decided to get the fuck off the island and just, count our blessings that we'd had a great time and mooch up. So I said to the guys, how do we fucking get home if we don't want to stay till 6 o'clock? So they said, go to the pier and you can either queue up and get a slower boat, which is cheaper, or you can pay for a speedboat. So a speedboat probably holds 50 people, 40, 50 people. It ain't like a one-on-one. It's not like that. It's a speedboat, passenger speedboat. So we went down there, and I can't remember. It wasn't expensive. It was something like, let's say it was fucking £5 for the little boat, and let's say it was 15 quid for the 20 quid, whatever, for the speed. It wasn't loads. It was a bit more than the slow boat, obviously. We got talking to a tattooist out there, right? And she told us that there's been people, because people get on the mushrooms and they get all fucking wild and that, don't they? Psychedelic, it's like doing acid. So people have died trying to swim from Kho Phangnan back to wherever. They look out and see the Koh Samui in the distance, the other island, and think, I could easily do that. So she told us multiple people had actually died in the water through either trying to swim to somewhere, to a boat, to a fucking an imaginary place, whatever, or just by getting too far out and being too buzzing. So that I can believe, right? I can believe that happened, because I saw how fucked up people were. And you're on a beach in the sea, people are going out to have a piss in the sea and things like that. And, it's easy to lose your footing, slip over, whatever. I would imagine, a full moon party in Thailand on Hadrin Beach, Kho Phangnan. I would imagine that place holds probably more stories and secrets and madness than 95% of music venues in the world, because it's a bonkers place where people feel free to let loose. And even now, like I say, I get to do it now with Romper and Dancy and fucking and all of the gang that I'm with in Thailand nowadays when we go out there, and it's a team effort and we do other things. But at that time, that was my first Thailand gig and the first time I'd gone to Full Moon and played it. And now I wouldn't say it's calmed down at all, but like I say, because the cannabis thing's been legalised out there. Back then everything was illegal. Now it's sort of like a little bit looser, but that hasn't really subdued the parties in any way. We went there New Year this year, and again, we left the island when we'd had enough, because we didn't want to stay until the sort of 6, 7 o'clock boat time that the guys book. And that's not to say it ain't great, and it ain't great fun. It is. It's almost too much fun that you need to get out of there before it gets too much fun. That's probably the problem. So, I've been fortunate enough to play in loads of other places now, all over Thailand since then, Bangkok, Phuket and fucking Pattaya and all the other places, Koh Samui, and where we've been on our travels. But for them reasons of being the first place and the nuttiest place, Full Moon Party and that Sunrise Bar there, anytime I'm back there and they'll have me play, I will always play for them, because they sort of, they open the door to me playing out there, I guess. So, massive shout out to Joe Serious and to everyone. Look, I'm not going to keep saying I can't remember names. To everybody in Thailand that we've rolled with and bumped into and played with and DJ'd with and all of that. Yeah, thank you for making some of the best fucking memories of my life. Despite breaking my shoulder out there this year, I still loved every moment of it, apart from breaking my shoulder out there this year. It's a special place, and the parties out there are not massive. I mean, Full Moon's different because it's what it is, but the drum and bass scene and the rave scene, it ain't massive out there. But the people that put the parties on and invest their time, money and love and effort into it, they're solid people, because they're not doing it for profit. They're doing it because they want to take what they love from home out there for them and their friends to enjoy. And now and again, people like us pass through and get to either play or enjoy it ourselves. And with my promoter brain, I know they're losing money every time they do these parties, a lot of them, but it's their passion and love. So big up all of my Thailand drum and bass and jungle community, you know, all of you guys. And anytime you're out there, you know, support any of the nights you see. I know you might have gone out there for a break and your missus might not like drum and bass, or the old man might not like jungle, or whatever. But I just know that these guys are trying to do their thing on the other side of the world, and it ain't fucking easy. It isn't like there's a scene. They don't just put a flyer out and everyone's like, oh, let's go to this rave. They have to graft a night for not many people to turn up on a lot of occasions. Doesn't matter whose fucking name's on the flyer. It's just, it just doesn't work like that, because it's a very, very, very small scene, you know, run by a very few people that try their hardest to do things in their area. So if you're in Bangkok, people from Phuket and all them sort of places ain't necessarily coming to your thing. So you're dealing with Bangkok, which may sound like, well, there's loads of people in Bangkok. Well, Bangkok is predominantly Thai people that don't even know what drum and bass is. They've never even heard of it, so they don't care. So you're working with holiday makers and the few Thai people that are open-minded and travelled and world enough to have found the music, accepted it, and come back and tried to support it themselves. So it's a real beautiful thing, because it's done purely out of love, and that comes through in everything that they do in these promotions. But yeah, you know, they say support your local promoter when you're at home, but when you're abroad, support the local promoters out there as well, because they've probably got it even harder than we have over here. But they have got the sunshine. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Big love to you all. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got loads of these in the bank already that you can watch. There's loads and loads more. I've got over 100 of these stories to come of different, you know, rave diaries and tower block tales, and some will appeal to you, some might not so much. But if they do, please don't forget to comment underneath, leave your version of the story, or you know, if you've got something to add to it, or just a thought on what I've been speaking about, please do. I reply to all of them, I read all of them, and I love them, you know what I mean? Because I say it all the time in this playlist on this channel, that all of our stories, they all make my story a bigger picture, don't they? So I can tell you something, but if you had bits that I didn't know happened to you, or your version, the picture gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And these comments on YouTube, you know, I would hope that it would last for whatever forever is, but they will always be a point of reference for people. If you type in laser drone, blah, 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 eventually you're going to find the video I did on laser drone. And then when you look at it, all the comments underneath will be your stories. So today's one is about what it's about, and tomorrow's one will be about something else. So please, 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 if it's something that you've got an affiliation to, put your comment underneath. I'll read it and I'll reply to it. And over time, loads of people will read them. So yeah, that's the game. All right. Peace and love to you all, guys. And I will see you on the next edition of Rave Diaries and Tower Block Tales. Yeah. One love.